Good morning. In this session, we will discuss about arrays. After going through this chapter, you should be able to understand what is an array, what is an one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and a three-dimensional array, and different applications like matrix operations, checking the symmetry of the matrix. In this, we will study about what is an array, how to declare and initialize an array, types of arrays, one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and multi-dimensional arrays. Before that, we must know the importance of an array and the necessity of an array. Suppose C has to accept 5 integer values, then we can declare the 5 variables as int a1, a2, a3, a4, a5. As a result of this declaration, 5 memory locations will get allocated at different places of memory to store these values. To store the values into these variables, we use scanf statement, and the 5 variables have to be clearly been specified in the scanf statement as follows. Scanf brackets open, double quotation, percentage d, percentage d, percentage d, percentage d, percentage d, close the double quotations, comma, ampersand x1, comma, ampersand x2, comma, ampersand x3, comma, ampersand x4, comma, ampersand x5, close the bracket, semicolon. We need to place the values at the 5 different memory locations allocated to store these values. What if we have to accept marks of 100 students? If we use ordinary variables to store these, we need to declare 100 variables and need to clearly specify all of these 100 variables and clear specification of each of these variables in scanf statement. It is very hard and also need lot of effort and hard work for doing arithmetic operations on these variables. These problems stated above can be overcome if we can form a list of data items by making them share a common name and use a subscript to denote the data items. Example, xi. X square brackets I, where X is said to be subscripted or indexed. This is where the concept of array comes. What is the definition of an array? Let us see the different definitions for an array. An array is defined as fixed size sequenced collection of elements of same data type. An array is defined as collection of elements that share a common name. An array is defined as collection of homogeneous elements. An array is defined as collection of data items stored in contiguous memory allocation. So overall, an array is defined as collection of logically related data items of same type stored in continuous memory allocation, sharing a common name separated by subscript value. And the declaration of the array, the syntax of the array is data type, array name, bracket subscript. Data type refers to any data type supported by C. So here the data type refers to any data type supported by C. Array name should be a valid C identifier, and size indicates this subscript value. This size indicates the maximum elements that can be stored inside an array. Let us see some of the properties of an array. Array should be a valid C variable. Array name should be unique. Subscript array size can be negative, cannot be negative. Subscript must always be an integer. Types of array. There is one-dimensional array, two-dimensional arrays, three-dimensional arrays, or we can also call them as multi-dimensional arrays. single or one-dimensional array. So what exactly is an one-dimensional array? Arrays whose elements are specified by one subscript are called one-dimensional arrays or linear arrays. The syntax is data type, array name, followed by size. If we represent the set of 5 numbers, say 45, 65, 10, 93 and 50, an array variable marks, we may declare the variable marks as follows. For example, int marks of 5. So int is nothing but it's a data type. Marks is the name of the array, and 5 is the maximum size of the array. By default, array index should start with an 0 value. So the subscript, the starting marks of 0, marks of 1, marks of 2, marks of 3, marks of 4. Like that, the maximum size will be 4. Now the computer stores the values of the array marks after receiving 5 storage locations and assigning the values to the array elements. Each element in the array is referred by the array name, followed by a pair of square brackets enclosing the subscript value. The subscript value is indexed from 0 to size minus 1. Since the size of the array is here 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. So from 0 to 4, where excuse me, subscript value 0 represents first element in the array selected. When the subscript value is 1, second element is selected, so on. We can easily get the address of the element by base address plus size of the variable into subscript. So here, first of all, whenever you declare an array, the name of the array, in the name of the array, you will be stored with the base address. So here you will be, in the marks, you will have the base address. That base address can be any address in the memory location. So here, since this marks is having the address, so address concept comes with the pointer, asterisk symbol. So here we can treat marks as an internal pointer. So marks will be having the address of the marks of 0. That is the first element, starting address will be stored in the marks. So now here, for example, if I want to find the address of the third element, so my third element is marks of 2. So how I will get this marks of 2 address is base address 2000 plus size of the integer. If I consider my size of the integer is a 2 and the subscript value is also 2. So 2 into 2 is 4. 4 plus 2000 is 2004. So in this fashion, we can find the address of any element in an array. So previously, we have seen that the array is having 5 elements, 45, 65, 10, 93 and 50. Now, these values, so marks of 0 will have 45, marks of 1 will have 65, marks of 2 will have 10, marks of 3 will have 93 and marks of 4 will have 40. These values will be get stored. So here, you need to understand. So whenever you are declaring an array, the array can be declared locally or globally. If you are declaring an array as a local variable, then the initial values will be the garbage value. If you are declaring it as a global variable, then the initial value will be 0. So instead of garbage value, you have 0. If you are declaring it as a global variable. If you are declaring it as a local variable, then the initial value in that particular memory will be the garbage value. It can be any value. Okay. Now, declaration of an one-dimensional array. An array variable is declared by specifying first the base type of the array, then the name of the array variable and the number of elements of that array. That is specified between pair of square brackets. The general format of array declaration is type, variable name, that is the array name, followed by square brackets, in within the square brackets the size of an array. Int marks of 100. Here in this example, int specifies the data type and marks specifies the name of the array and size specifies the maximum size of the array. From the above example, the maximum size of array is 100. Now we need to assign elements of the array. So once the array is declared, it is possible to refer the individual elements of the array. This is done with a subscript which contains a number in the square brackets followed by array name. The number specifying the element position in the array. All the array elements are numbered starting from 0 to 0 from 0. So the starting address will be 0 and the last element address will be the size minus 1. So here it is 100. So the subscript, the last subscript value is 99. Thus, what does marks of 2 specify? Marks of 2 specify the third element of the array. Marks of 0 will specify the first element. Marks of 1 will specify the second element. Marks of 2 will specify the third element of the array. Marks of 91 specify 99 specifies 100th element of the array. Input and output of array values. So we can enter data into an array. So we can read the data into an array. So we can read the data into array by using scanf function. So since we can, instead of declaring or instead of reading the array individually, since we are using the concept of array, by using the loop, for loop statement, we can read here, see, for I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to I less than 29. The meaning of I less than 29 is that the maximum size is 29 plus 1, that is 30. So for 0 to 29, that is the 30, total 30 elements, 30 students marks can be read by using the scanf function, scanf percentage d ampersand marks of I. Here the variable I is used to subscript for referring various elements of an array. The for loop causes the process to repeat for 30 times in asking to enter the student marks for the user. For the first time, the value of I is 0, read through scanf statement and get the value of marks of 0, which is the first element of the array. The process is repeated until the I value terminates the condition. So until the 29 values, that is the 30 students marks are entered, we are going to enter the value of I. Now, once after reading the data, we can print the data into an array. For printing the data, print for I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to 29, I plus plus, we are going to use the printf command. So percentage d marks of I. Here the variable I is used in the subscript for referring various elements of the array. The for loop causes the process to be repeated for 30 times in printing the student marks. For the first time, the value of I is 0, printed through printf statement, and the print value of marks of 0, which is the first element of the array, is printed. The process is repeated until the I value terminates the condition. So in this fashion, we can both accept the values of I and we can print the values of I. Initialization of an array. So here, after declaring an array, the individual elements of an array are initialized. Otherwise, they will contain the garbage value. So they will contain the garbage value if you are declaring an array as a local variable. They will contain the value 0 if you are declaring it as a global variable. So if you are declaring it as a local variable, it will contain the garbage value. If you are declaring it as a global variable, you will be having the value as 0. So the initialization takes place in two ways. One is at compile time and the other one is at runtime. In compile time, there are 4 ways. One is initialize all specific memory locations. And the second one is partial array initialization. And third method is initialization without size. And fourth one is string initialization. So first, let us see initialization all specific memory locations. So here we can see the first example, int marks of 5. is equal to 65, 98, 62, 48, 57. So here the size of the marks is 5, and here we have 5 different elements. What does this define? Depends that the array marks contain 5 integer elements and initializes marks of 0 to 65, marks of 1 to 98, marks of 2 to 62, and marks of 3 to 48, and marks of 4 to 57. If the number of initialization is less than the number of elements in the array, then the remaining elements are set to 0. See the second example. This is the partial array initialization. Here we have declared only 3 elements. So the 4th element and the 5th element will be assigning the values 0, 0. And the third type of initialization is initialization without a size. See here, int m, I have not mentioned the size. So if I don't mention the size in this declaration, even though we have not specified the exact number of elements to be used in the array size will be automatically set to 4, because there are 4 elements in this particular array. So there is no need of defining the size if we are initializing it at the time of compilation, at the time of writing the source code program. The 4th type is string initialization. A character array may be initialized by a string constant, resulting in the first element of the array being set to the first character in the string. See here. So we know that a character is represented by using single quotations, and a string is represented by using double quotations. So here in both ways we can initialize the string, and you can note that here there is no need of putting 10. Automatically it will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters are there, and the termination. So in strings we will use \0 as the termination. So for that also it will assign some space. So totally you will be taking 10 elements. So the first element, name of 0 will contain C, name of 1 will contain O, name of 2 will contain M, name of 3 will contain P, name of 4 will contain U, name of 5 will contain T, 6 E, 7 R, 8 S, and name of 9 will contain \0. In this fashion we can assign values to the array. Initialization of arrays. The second thing is we can initialize the values by using runtime initialization. So an array can be explicitly initialized at a runtime. This approach is usually applied for initializing larger arrays. Scanf can be used to initialize an array. So we are going to use scanf. For that, what we are going to use? We are going to use the loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Scanf percentage d ampersand x of I. The meaning here is I less than 10. So it will be counting for 9. So totally it is going to take 10 elements. So the size of the array is 10 and the subscript of the last element is 9. So in this fashion, we are going to scan the 10 elements. So the above statement will initialize array elements with values referred through the keyboard. So from keyboard, we are going to take the values. In the runtime initialization of array, looping statements are almost compulsory. Looping statements are used to initialize the values of the array one by one using assignment operator or through the keyboard by the user. Now let us see a small program for entering data into an array and reading data from an array. So if you see here, so what I have taken a 3 variables. One is of type integer array, which is having a size of 10. So total elements it is having is 10 elements and integer I and n. Enter the number of elements, scanf percentage ampersand n. So here the n value can be any value. The maximum size of the array is 10. It is not necessary that all the 10 elements you need to give. It will allocate the space for 10 elements, but you can have your own size. So here I have accepted the n value. If you can see the input here, I have entered the n value as 3. So now this particular array is having 3 elements. So for using the print statement, I have scanned scanf statement. I have scanned the 3 elements and the the first element is 2, second element is 5, and the third element is 3. Now using the loop statement, I have printed all the 3 elements and my output is 2, 5, 3. So this is a small program for entering data into array, for reading the data and printing the data. Now let us see the same program wherein the initialization is done at the compile time only. So I have taken an array of size 5 and the 5 elements are supposed to be 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Now my A of 0 will contain value 10, A of 1 will contain value 20, A of 2 will contain value 30, A of 3 will contain value 40 and A of 4 will contain value of 50. Now what I have done, using the print for command, and I have printed all the 5 elements. So for A of 0 to A of 4, all the elements, 5 elements I have printed, and the output will look like this. So this is a small program. Now write a C program to sort the given numbers in ascending order using one-dimensional array. This is my small program which I have used for sorting the elements. You please go through this particular program as an assignment and let me know if you have any doubts regarding this particular program. Two-dimensional array. So what is a two-dimensional array? If an array contains 2 subscripts, then it is called as a two-dimensional array. This two-dimensional array is also called as a matrix. It is called as array of arrays. Since it contains 2 subscripts, it is also known as double scripted variable. It is used to represent table of values containing rows values and column values. So we will be having rows and columns. So row means horizontal, column means vertical. So initially the first subscript defines the rows and the second subscript defines the column. So now let us see how we can declare an two-dimensional array. The two-dimensional array can be declared by specifying the first, the base type of the array, then the name of the array variable, and then the number of rows and column elements. The array should be specified between a pair of square brackets. Note that this value cannot be a variable and has to be an integer constant. So here the row size and column size need to be an integer constant. The example here I have given, int is the type of the variable, a is the name of the variable, and 3 is the row size, and 4 is the column size. This is how we are going to define or declare an two-dimensional array. So now let us initialize, let us see the different ways how we can initialize a two-dimensional array. For example, if I have 3 columns and 3 rows and 4 columns, totally 3 into 4, 12 elements I will be having. Let us suppose that the elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, how these are going to get assigned? So my array 0 of 0, first row, first column will be 1. First row, second column, first row, third column, first row, fourth column will be 4. Second row, first column, second row, second column, second row, third column, second row, fourth column, third row, first column, third row, second column, third row, third column, third row, fourth column. So this is how we are going to assign the values. The compiler will be assigning the values, which can be represented in the form of a matrix like this. And this can again further be represented in this particular format. Input and output of 2D array variables. So how we can scan the data asset for a two-dimensional array, and how we can print the data for a two-dimensional array. So we can scan the two-dimensional array by using 2 for loops. So for I is equal to 0, I less than or equal I less than 2, I plus plus. For j is equal to 0, j less than 3, j plus plus. So the meaning of this particular array, I have taken 2 rows and 3 columns. 3 rows and 4 columns. So 3 rows and 4 columns. Sorry here. It should be for I less than 3, j less than 4. So I can scan these elements by using ampersand marks of I comma j. So we can scan the 4 elements. printing data into an array. So for printing the data, I am using a for loop, for, after that another for loop, and printf percentage d marks of I comma j. Directly we can print the each variable, and so this for loop, it will execute this particular statement. Once this for loop, this j gets more than 3 value, then we will print the new line and then get increment the I value. So the value of this particular print statement will be printing the values in this particular format. Now let us write a C program for addition of two matrix. So here I have taken three 3x3 matrix. One thing for doing matrix addition, you should know that the number of rows in the first matrix should be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix, and the number of columns in the first matrix should be equal to the number of columns in the second matrix. Then only matrix addition is possible. But here I have not taken, because I have taken a square matrix, both of equal size. So considering them to be an 3x3 matrix, so I have not checked the condition here, but you can write your own logic by checking the condition and printing whether the matrix addition is possible or not. That also you can do here. So I have taken three arrays. One is array A, array B, and array C. Array A and B represent two input matrices, and array C represents the resultant sum matrix. Now here I have taken the size of the matrix as a 3x3 matrix. So here the first matrix A is of size 3x3, and the second matrix B is of 3x3, and we have scanning the elements of the matrix. Then what I have done, I have added the matrix 1 with the matrix 2, corresponding elements of the matrix 1 with the matrix 2, and I have printed the result of the matrix. So this is how we can do matrix addition. Now let us see the similar program for subtraction. That the only difference between the addition and subtraction is here instead of plus you will be having the minus symbol. Then we can do subtraction. Now let us see the next program for doing matrix multiplication. So here the matrix multiplication is possible only if the number of columns in the first matrix is equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. So there need not be an matrix of square matrix or of similar size. So the matrix multiplication is only possible if the number of columns in the first matrix is equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. So here I have taken the matrices of size, maximum size supposed to be 10, but I have accepted taken the input number of and rows and number of columns of first matrix, number of rows and number of columns of second matrix. Now I have tested the condition whether the matrix multiplication is possible or not. That is, the columns in the first matrix should not, if it is not equal to the number of rows, then we need to print a message saying that matrix multiplication is not possible. Else what we need to do, we need to do matrix multiplication. So I have taken the first input of the first matrix, I have taken the input of the second matrix. Now for matrix multiplication, for I is equal, so this is the format for matrix multiplication. For I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to number of rows in. So the resultant matrix will be of the size R1, C2. So R1 is the number of rows in the first matrix, and C2 is the number of columns in the second matrix. So for I is equal to 0, I less than R1, I plus plus. For J is equal to 0, J less than C2 plus plus J. What I have taken C of Ij is equal to 0. For K is equal to 0, K less than C1. So here you can write either C1 or R2, because C1 and R2 are both are equal. If they are equal, then only we will enter into this particular else loop. So here you can either take it as C1 or R2. So now Cij is equal to Cij plus Aik into Bkj. What this will do is this particular statement is the logic of matrix multiplication. So once after using this particular logic, once after calculating the matrix multiplication value using the print matrix format, I have printed the matrix. So this is how you can do matrix multiplication. Now, let us see another program. Write a C program to find the largest and smallest number given in the array. So now, if suppose if I have an array, if the array is having some elements, I want to find out the maximum number and the minimum number. For that, what I have taken is, I have taken, if you can see here, I have scanned all the values. Now, I have taken the first element as a large. Now, there is no need of comparing the first element because already that first element I have stored in the large. So, I am comparing this large with the from the second element onwards until the last element, So, for I is equal to 1, I less than I plus plus. If A of I is greater than large. So, whatever the initial large value I have taken, if I compare with the second element, if my second element is greater than large, then I will enter into the loop and I will change. Else what I will do, I will repeat this loop process until the larger element will be stored into the A of I. So in the similar fashion, I have used a small is equal to A of 0. My first element I have taken as small element, and now using this for loop I have calculated the small value, and after that I have printed the result here in this particular program. Three-dimensional array or multi-dimensional array. So a programming language C allows 3 or more dimensions, but they are used rarely. Three-dimensional arrays are called as array of arrays. The general format for three-dimensional or multi-dimensional array is type, the variable name, followed by the subscripts based on the number of subscripts you use. Type specifies the data type and variable name specifies the name of the array, and S1, S2, Sn specifies the size of a multi-dimensional array. So here I have given an example int A of 342. So it is having 3 dimensions. So 342. How I can represent this is in this particular fashion. The meaning of this is the outer entire array contains 3 elements. So if you can see, this is one element, this is the second element, and this is the third element. So the outer array contains 3 elements. Each of which is 2 dimensions. So each one is 2 dimensions. Array of 4-dimensional array. So 2, 2, 2. Like that, how many? 4. So each with 2, 4 dimensions, and the total number of elements it contains is 3. So this is how we are going to represent an 3-dimensional array. So the session summary is what we have. Array name should be unique and valid C variable name. The number of elements in a multi-dimensional array is the product of its subscripts. Array can be initialized to the same type in which they are declared. The character array receives the terminating \0 in the string constant. The individual values in the array are called as elements. If it is not necessary to specify the length of the array explicitly, in case if initializers are providing for the array during the declaration of declaration itself. And this is the exercise programs. You please do these exercise programs for these are the 7 different programs. You also please do this, practice these 4 programs. If you have any doubts, you can please ask me. Thank you. Thank you for hearing my session patiently. Thank you. Thank you very much.